Hello and welcome to another Just Flying episode, and what should be the next leg of the road trip. I'm not sure we're going to see much of the road in this weather. Not been up yet to check it out, but everything about the look of this is telling me that we're not having a VFR flight today. Not to worry, there is a plan B. Let's go and have a look first and see if looking out the window isn't going to be a thing today, as I suspect. Yeah, that's very low cloud, isn't it? Fairly confident we're not visually following the road today, are we? This is Highway 1 coming up just here, and no. Okay then, so I did mention the yak for this leg of the road trip, but half of the instruments in that are labelled in a language I don't speak. So I postponed the yak flight to go with the Baron when I saw this weather, as I know what all the switches are in here, and I'm more familiar with flying this thing as well, as we may well be IMC most of the way. Just get myself sorted. Yeah, so plan B, as we can't see where we're going, we'll leave Foxpine and head towards the VOR at Palmerston North. Then about 10 miles short of there we'll turn left a bit, and that should take us to the ILS, which we'll use to land at Ohakia. Ohakia NZOH being our final destination for the day. I have said this before, having flown for real and done a fair bit of instrument training. Well, back then it was VOR beacons, not GPS, so this is what I'm familiar with and much prefer to be using rather than the more modern equipment, but it is harder to do in the sim than it is in real life, in my opinion. Largely I think that's my controls. They're not as smooth and positive as a real yoke in a real plane, plus I haven't got any kind of force feedback either, so I'll try and be reasonably accurate, but I'm not going to chase the needles too much either. Obviously putting on the autopilot would be a lot more accurate, but that's also a lot less fun, so yeah, we're not going to do that, and I will hand fly it. Yeah, I'm just going to say, yeah, I'll be happy enough if we're flying in the general direction of where we want to go, and I'll try 1,500 feet, but 100 feet either side, and I'm not going to worry about that too much. Might not be perfect, but we should still get there, fingers crossed. Yeah, so as for being a tour guide today, can't see anything to tell you about, so we'll have to resume that next time, unless we crash into an interesting building or hillside. But yeah, coming up on the 10-mile mark, gentle turn to the north. That means we'll then be coming at the ILS localizer at about 90 degrees. Not ideal, but I'm sure we'll be fine. It's not like we're flying a 747 or something, is it? We can make tighter turns at slower speeds, so no problem with any of that. See, ILS frequency tuned in. Yeah, so just keep heading in this general direction and we'll see what happens. That's an interesting thing I found out today, that Australia has now banned under 16s from using social media. Well, next year they will do, as they've given Facebook, TikTok, etc. 12 months to work out an age verification system or whatever it's going to be. And with the Australian government threatening very large fines to these social media companies, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Certainly wouldn't surprise me if one of the options is that Facebook etc. just simply say screw it and ban every Australian IP address from having access. I'm just not sure how you could reliably keep somebody from lying about their age on the internet where you can operate anonymously very easily if you want to. I mean, I quite like the idea to a degree, but I think the chance to actually control who uses the internet and the social media platforms, that disappeared many years ago, and there's no putting it back in the box now. So yeah, 12 months to bring in age restricted access. Is it just me who's thinking that's actually 12 months for the social media companies to review all the loopholes where they can then make themselves not legally responsible under Australian law, so nothing much is going to change? Yeah, we'll see. Although not really bothers me anyway. I'm not Australian, not under 16, and well, I do have a Facebook account, but I haven't used it for years. YouTube is the only thing I do use with any regularity, and I doubt that comes under the heading of social media anyway, does it? But can't be too far from the localiser centre line now. Let's keep an eye on when the needle starts to move. I will try and capture it in one, but if we fly through and have to capture it coming back from the other side, we've got plenty of distance to the runway, so that's not going to matter. Got to make a little bit of a turn towards it. Go on then, I will put the gear down. That's the good thing about the Marchetti, you can pull the fuse and stop the landing gear warning horn going off. You can't do that in this plane. Right, making our turn. I think we might just blow through the centre line. Not going to be by much, so that's all good. Try and get back on roughly the right track. Okay, that's better. Our little glide slope indicators, just waiting for them to start moving to the centre, and then we can begin our descent. This is a bit more than anything else where my little Cytec joystick does become a poor replacement for a real aeroplane yoke and the seat of the pants feeling of the movement of the plane. I'll do my best, but I'm not expecting things to be that accurate with holding the ideal profile horizontally or vertically. Fingers crossed it will at least be good enough to get us down to a place where we can see. As for a decision altitude, rather than a number, I'm going to go with a question instead. Namely, have we crashed yet? If the answer to that is no, then we can safely continue the descent, which is the Birmingham Guangzhou Airlines policy. And that's still a significant safety improvement over the South Fiordland Express Airline, so at least we're not flying one of their planes today, so that's good. Okay, doing okay-ish, not perfect for the centre line. Never mind. not significantly under the glide slope either, which is the main thing. You can't see where you're going. Got a very long runway too for a plane of this size, so being a bit high and landing half the way down is fine. Probably a good thing actually, as that will take us nearer to the apron, so there's less taxiing. So might try and land halfway down the runway on purpose, assuming we find the run. Ground. I can see ground. Can't see a runway yet, but I'm sure that will come into view any second. It's got to be just up there. Yep. Is that, yes, it is, I think. Yep, no, that's it. We've definitely got it now. There's the runway. Cool, that will do. And yeah, as I said, rather than half an hour's worth of taxiing, if I try and use the runway intersection as our threshold, that will probably be better for a plane of this size, which we can stop fairly easily. Okay. Yeah, seemed to go okay. Yeah, so nobody's going to use that as a training video of how to make an IMC flight, but we made it, flew in generally the direction that we intended, got here at the right airport, and nice enough landing too, so I'm happy enough with that, considering we couldn't see anything for most of that flight, and it was hand flying using steam gauge navigation rather than moving maps or GPS. Yeah, no scenery to look at, but yeah, such is life. Certainly still enjoyed that. Okay. And that was the next leg of the Highway 1 road trip without seeing Highway 1. Yeah, hopefully the weather improves for the next one so that we can then see it. Yeah, until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.